finally. Okay. So like first of all, like why we use Linux? Actually, the reason behind Linux is 95% of our servers that we use comprise of Linux, and more we rarely use Windows servers nowadays. Most are Linux, and the biggest advantage of using Linux is security. Wait, I'll open some notepad. Mm, You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Number one reason is security. That's the biggest reason we use it in servers. In Windows, like there are a lot of breaches and hacks that can be done, but in Linux, it is very less prone. Like because in Windows, whenever you download a virus, it executes itself. But in Linux, it is simply a file. If you give it a in Linux, if you put a virus file, it will be just a dormant file. You won't be able to like run or do anything on it unless there is some access you have. Also, authentication, and there are multiple things you can have with Linux over Windows. Mm. Also, the biggest reason, second biggest reason is it is open source. So, any one of you know what is open source? Anyone?
It is free to all. Anyone can contribute to it.
Yes, the biggest reason is anyone can contribute to it. It is community supported. So like you can go into Ubuntu or any Linux repository and you can become a contributor there. So it is managed by the community. For that, because of that, it is free and open to use. When Linus Torvalds created it, it was his main reason was to like have it open source. Unix, Unix was created looking at Unix as a base because Unix was paid and not much accessible. So what Linus Torvalds did was he created an alternative to it, and which we all know as Linux, and has been booming. And we have like maybe thousands of tens of thousands of Linux distributions that are available in the market. Like for every use you can have a distro or distribution, you can say. Like either you want to do graphic designing or gaming or development, there is one Linux for everything. And for the open source perspective, you can go there and learn from their maintainers, and there are lots of bugs of open source. Number uh, third advantage is you can use it uses less resources. Means that it can even run on your 500 MB system, even 200. Previously, in old versions of Linux that can even run on 100 MB, and even nowadays there are some systems that can run on even 50 MBs. That's why mostly we have Linux. Also, it saves a lots of space. Like you can see, like in Windows, we at least need 50 GBs. Like see, 42 GBs of use space. I can install two, three, or maybe four Linux distribution in this much of space. That's how less space a Linux uses. In less space, I'll mention like you can, un- if it comes to RAM, it hardly needs 1 GB. Depends on your distribution that you want to use. Ubuntu uses more, and there are many more that can use even less. Processor, It can even run on a P4 or a dual core or any system. You do not need a high-end system for that. Storage, it can depend. You can either use on a 8 GB pen drive or have it on a 10 GB storage, or you can even go less with a 2 GB storage as well. Like when you will be using it through pen drive, it will hardly take 2 to 4 GBs on your pen drive. Like you can direct it takes less that much less space. You can, rather than using it on your system, you can directly use it on a pen drive. But on and when we use it on a pen drive, we call it persistent. Persistent meaning like every time you run it, every time you will open it, it will work same like your own storage. You can see like our pen drive is same as our storage. The only difference is that pen drive is a secondary storage, and the size. Our hard disk is 500 to 1 TB, and pen drive is 8 GB, 16 GBs, and any much like you can have. Fourth reason, like it is the most important one. It's best for development. You can see it is using less resources. It is open source. It is more secure. Why not? It won't be good for development. If you I'll give you an example in that. When it comes to Android Studio, if you run a Gradle, like if you run it just, no, I'll take much easier example. If on a Windows you are running something, if it is taking 10 seconds to compile, and on Linux it might take 1 second, because it is saving your resources. On Windows, your system is eating up your 2 GB to 2 to 3 gigs of RAM, while on Linux it hardly takes 1 GB, hardly, or 1.5, hardly. Sometimes it is 200 also, 200 MB. Next is updates, update rollouts, and whatever you can say. Like in Linux, it depends on you. There is a command to update it. Unless you run it, your system won't upgrade itself. Unlike Windows, in Windows, like Windows kind of sucks because every time we open it, it automatically starts its updates, and whenever we restart it, it takes like 30 minutes and 1 hour when it is reinstalling its updates. You know, right? What I mean? Uh, you can unmute and speak. It's fine.
Yes.
You're getting what I mean? So, in terms of productivity, also Linux is saving our time as a programmer. Also, like it is not automatically updating it. Like in Windows, uh, it automatically updates everything, even though we might not need the latest driver of graphics, but still it will. While in Linux, it's all in our control. We can limit any package or driver to particular version, or we can roll it back to its older one. Okay, so now it's under our control. Seventh reason is customization. You can change everything from UI to install packages. And what do I mean by it? I mean by this, I mean that you can see like in our Windows, we are restricted to this UI. Unless I upgrade to Windows 11, my UI won't be changing any much unless I use uh, third-party customizations. Windows 7 has its particular UI. Windows XP has its particular UI. But in Ubuntu, there is something you have which is called desktop environments. So what is desktop environment? I'm googling it so I can show you like there are multiple types of desktop environment. You can see there are multiple UIs. Like this is the genome one that comes with Ubuntu, and just like that there is cinnamon like this is for LXD. You can install any desktop environment on any of your system. Mm, see, genome, XFC, LXD, KD. These are there are many more even. These 10 are the, you can say, most famous ones. There are around 20 plus desktop environments you can use. You can customize your PC. You can have either genome, which comes pre-installed with Ubuntu. You can use LXD that comes pre-installed with Light Ubuntu, or KD that comes with KD Ubuntu, or any of them on your system. You just have to like install that particular package, and it will change your entire UI. Okay, so you are not restricted to a particular UI, no matter which Linux you are using. Also, when it comes to customization, you what you can Linux is that much customizable that if you are using Ubuntu, you can convert it to a Kali Linux. You can convert it to some other also, as long as you know which repositories to like which packages to install. In a way, like in easy language, if you know what softwares to install and what resources to provide in its files, you can completely customize your Linux distribution that you are using. And s- one more is community support. Community support is very much important to us as developers, no matter if we are going for a programming language or some framework or anything. Like if I ask any one of you in terms of like uh, framework or language, what do you think community support I mean here? Any one of you can answer. Or you can say simply no. I can go ahead.
To get help when we need it related to the
Yep.
particular.
And anything else from anyone else? Okay, so I'll take it as no. So by community support, I actually, yeah, you actually, your answer was right. That's what I mean. Like help. You can say help, documentation. You can name it as anything. Help, documentation, tutorials, guides. You can name it anything. So if you are using a framework or anything, it is not having a good community support. Even if you are learning it, it will create a lots of barriers for you, right? Like if I am going for a particular language which is unknown, it will not have much documentations. You can add user base also, not user base, maintainers, because we can ask question to maintainers as well. Okay, So by community support, if we talk about Linux, if you Google it, you will have a complete forum for help for Linux. Like for Ubuntu, you have something else. There are Ubuntu forums, and for other Linux, there is something else. Every Linux will have its own forum where you can like just like Stack Overflow forums for documentation. I mean blogs, written content. By tutorial, I mean videos, and not necessarily they need to be generated by the official community. They can be generated by the people. Just like take for instance Ubuntu. There are lots of videos on YouTube. We can count YouTube as well in that. YouTube also counts. Okay. And in guide also you can add it in through documentations as well. These are the guides are the manuals and the official documentations that are produced by the organization, that organization or community that is actually building it. And by maintainers, I mean people maintaining its code, community, or can be anything. You got the gist of what I mean by all 5 points? I can repeat. It's fine if you want me to. Anyone?
No, it's good. Good to go.
Okay. Yeah, also I forgot adding, not security, it's privacy and security. Uh, why did privacy? Because Linux is not collecting your data in any way, just like Google collects our data on Android. Okay. Mm, give me a minute. Okay, so I think I saved it. Yeah. So now the biggest question, I'll be teaching you Linux and why I'm using Windows. Can anyone answer that?
More familiar with.
Yeah.
We know how to use Windows, but we don't know
Yeah.
how to use Linux.
Yeah, that's why. From tomorrow or later on, I'll be completely using Windows, like for starters. Okay. So coming to Windows, how can we start with Linux right away, like without having anyone install the Ubuntu or any other Linux on our system? What we can do is use VirtualBox and create a virtual environment or use WSL. What is WSL? WSL means Windows Subsystem for Linux. The difference between VirtualBox and WSL is like Linux provides us terminal, right? So WSL gives us that terminal right away without any extra layers in easy language. While in VirtualBox you have hypervisor, above that you have the VirtualBox software, and above that you get the operating system. But in WSL you have the hypervisor, and WSL directly manages it to give you Linux terminal. Okay. Mm, wait, I
I
was
know
actually
also
setting up what?
how can we install WSL like in Windows.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Wait, I'll leave this step here. I'll show you first like how to install WSL. It is pretty much easy. What you have to do is just go to your control panel. Uh, Go to control panel, go to install a program, and not uninstall anything. Actually, this was the shortcut that I normally use. You just have to go to Windows features. Actually, you can directly search it as well. Turn Windows features on and off. Here you have to select WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux. Yeah, here. Select it and click OK. It will take some loading. Wait for that. Wait for it. After the loading is finished, you have to. You can simply like it depends on. It depends like they just upgraded it now, so you have to just select that and go to your Microsoft Store. Yeah, Windows is slow. Also, my PC is slow.
Like I have Windows 11, so will it be
Yeah,
available
it will be same. It will be same. Windows 10
Okay, so
is older version of Windows 11. Is a older version, so there will surely be WSL for Windows 11 as well.
so what we should install? VM instances or WSL? Because
You
the
just have
VirtualBox
to
is
install any of this. What?
VirtualBox is slow as compared to WSL. If you compare,
VirtualBox would be slow. Yeah, it would be, but uh, where VirtualBox would be better to use in cases you want the GUI. Like in Linux, if you only want to use want to learn commands and want the shell only, then WSL is best. You can natively use Linux services, everything over your Windows directly without installing Linux or without uh, installing Linux on VirtualBox. Just directly installing any of these, like directly installing any of these, and just you just need to restart it, and then you'll get a terminal like this. You just have to give it a password because Linux works on password. It doesn't work any without a password. Oh, it was supposed to. I was supposed to ask her. Just wait. I was supposed to add a username. Now it will take more time. It will ask you for a username and then password. That's all. It's benefitable if you only need the Linux services and the shell, you want to write shell scripts or just the terminal. You got it? What I mean? Just you can say if you just only want to use the black screen in easy language, then you can go for WSL. Otherwise, you can go for VirtualBox. VirtualBox would be better to learn. Wait, I have it on screen. I'll also show you like how to set it up on VirtualBox. I think there's something in chat. Yeah, you can get the recordings also.
okay, thanks.
Also, I'll be creating some notes because I didn't teach because it was an introductory session. There wasn't much. It is taking too much time. Okay, done. Oh. After installing VirtualBox, you just have to simply install VirtualBox, like download VirtualBox, click on next, 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 next. After that, it will open. You have to click on new, select and the Linux you want to use. Like I selected when Ubuntu. Okay, I need to delete it first. I deleted it. New Ubuntu. or what. Also, you need to have it downloaded. Like first I downloaded this distribution and then I'm using it. You need to have an ISO file. Is there anyone of you that doesn't know ISO file? I can explain. You can just
I
say yes
don't
and I'll
know.
explain. So ISO file is just a installation file. Like, I am having this Windows operating system, Windows installed on my system. To install this, you need to have a file or something that is an ISO file, installation file, you can say, for operating system. Just like for softwares, we have .exe file. For text, we have text files. Just like that, for installing any operating system, we have ISO. So I download the installation file for Windows, and after that, I'm opening this VirtualBox. Actually, you need to have it to start it. You can create the entry here in VirtualBox. It will create an entry, but it won't start the Ubuntu. Like here also, I'm just click on next, 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 because by default it takes the best settings according to my system. Now, if I start it will be blank because it's just an entry without anything in there. Also, it takes time, slight time. See, it will say no disk found. Just like when on our PC, our operating system is destroyed. I'll power off, start it again. Because it is just like a dead body without a soul. And that ISO file installation disk, it is its soul. So I think I skipped some menu. Give me a minute. Ubuntu. See, in here, I just have to select this, select Ubuntu. Like in your, it won't show the entry. So you have to click on the folder, and then here you have to click on add. Here's my installation file, installation ISO file, whatever you can name it. It will appear here. Just choose it, select it in the drop down if it is not there, and start. That way you can run any operating system over your Windows, any Linux. So it started. It will ask me for some basic steps to install it. I'll go with the steps and then it will be installed. I will show you that process as well. It will help you in two ways actually, even in VirtualBox, or you want to install it on your system, because installing Linux is slightly complicated. Mm, mm, mm.
Can we install this Ubuntu on pen drive and use it whenever we want?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Like uh, you can either you want to install it on pen drive. Yeah, then there is a much better step. Just flash it on your pen drive. That's all. If you want to make it persistent, then you have to just download a tool. There's a tool in that you have to give that installation file and your pen drive, and just keep clicking on okay, 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 and that's all. And when you boot it in with your pen drive, it will start. The only difference between a normal installation uh, Windows and normal, not Windows, normal installation drive of any Linux, and a persistent is that when you use your uh, installation drive. By installation drive, what I mean is after you flash it on your CD, pen drive, or anything, it will run your Linux directly. You do not have to install it. Like I'll show you right now. It will give me two options, like try or install. I can simply click on try and use it, but it won't save anything. while on a persistent disk, what we do is rather than using our system's hard disk, we use that pen drive as a hard disk and install our operating system on that. That way you can install Windows or any operating system on your pen drive as long as it has the storage. Like if you are having a 32 GB pen drive, you can install Windows 7 or Windows 10. It depends on you. The difference here is only the primary drive and the secondary drive. That's all. The process is actually slow because I'm using it on VirtualBox. In beginning, it takes time. Mm.
So which will be faster, like VirtualBox or pen drive?
For pen drive, you will have to like use it as your system. Like in my case, I'm not restricted to Windows. I can just close it and use my Windows. Oh, not restricted to Linux. Now I can use my Windows. But if I am using Windows on my what do you say it on my system directly, then I'm restricted to Linux. So it will be best if you go with VirtualBox first or WSL unless you learn the basics, because then you will be forced into an environment of Linux and you will find it very hard. That's why. That's why everyone recommends VirtualBox or WSL. You can
Okay.
do the things hard way as well. It's your choice. It's like that.
And about the Ubuntu, we are going to use
Yeah.
Ubuntu first, no?
Yeah.
Not Kali
Yeah.
Linux or whatever.
Actually, Linux is just a kernel. Like Linux, you know what's kernel or yeah, I'll explain. So kernel is like a soul of operating system. Okay. It's like a seed, and the operating system is a plant. Wait, I think I need to stop recording and because it is about to end.